So there was a story released today that Donald Trump plans to backtrack on his tariff policies. He's already backtracked on a ton of stuff. Other stuff he hasn't mentioned, like no taxes on tips, right? Or getting rid of the income tax. He's abandoned those now. But there's the ones he's fully backtracked on or just not done. He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine 24 hours after he was elected. That didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. He said that we shouldn't be spending money over there, as did all the Republicans. Now his plan is to back up Ukraine. He said that tariffs were not a tax, that prices would not go up. He said in an interview, I can't make that promise. He said the stock market was going to go through the roof, and then like 2 weeks later was at the stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, was like, nah, it's, well, we don't know if there's a dip. You might not want to buy. And then food prices, says he admits that food prices can't come out. There was a video that was released today there was a, I'll get to the video in a second. There was a article that was released today by a Washington Post reporter that said that the people in the Trump camp are now planning targeted tariffs. They're not planning blanket tariffs. And Donald Trump got on True Social and said that's complete fake. It's fake news, whatever. And that guy actually posted a video on TikTok that I just duetted, where he's like, I talked to the people in the Trump administration. I talked to them. And this is what they told me. So, and like, a lot of people think that like, mainstream media, they can't be trusted. They have an editorial process. They have lawyers. They have a review. They're not just going to publish anything willy-nilly. So this guy heard this from the inside of the Trump administration or the transition team, which means one of two things. One, Trump is lying to you. He is lying. Or two, people in the Trump transition team thought that he was lying. And we're like, yeah, of course he's not going to do blanket tariffs. And now he's like, no, I am. So there's like a huge disconnect there. But he's backtracking on everything. And all this has really done is cause MAGA to have like this full-blown meltdown in the H-1B visa thing, which wasn't even an argument prior to his actually coming into power. It was just like or after he won the election, it was just one that came about. But they're finding out like, oh, he lied to us in real time. And the crash out from it's fantastic. Because I think that like what's most fascinating, right? We have watched as like our debates went from like debating people that were moderates. I don't know. I'm voting for Hillary. Like, you remember that? I'm voting for Kamala because, do you remember that?
Yep.
Like, we were, for a period of time, we were debating people that were like, well, I just think he's going to do so much better. And now they've just gone into full-blown defensive mode. They've had to defend tariffs, H-1B visas. And I think like after that whole incident where they were like, it shifted from like this just being one big giant mess of an election to like post-election clarity. People were like, oh shit, how do we defend tariffs? And so they had to go into defending tariffs to try to defend Trump. And then he immediately sidelines them, immediately throws them under the bus with the H-1B visas. And now they're like, oh God, how do I defend that? Oh God. Because this is like central promises of his. It's pretty...
On that note, it's been amazing, truly amazing, watching them defend the deep state now. A cabal of unelected billionaires now infiltrating the White House, but somehow it's good when it's their policy proposals, even though it's not. But it's okay when it's people who support Trump. And now this has become, well, yeah, we love Elon, even though we hate his invention. We hate EVs. We don't believe in climate change. But, hey, he's rich, so have at it.
Yeah. And like I said, I remember, I posted a video. I think someone told me that Matt Walsh played it on his show or something in like hour 6 or I don't know, whatever. It was like way into the show though. And in that video, this is from when Elon Musk bought Twitter. They were trying to say, oh, it's bringing free speech to Twitter, bringing free speech to Twitter. And I pointed out, rightfully so, that Elon Musk does not believe in free speech. Fascists
he
do
banned a
not
reporter
believe...
today.
Yeah. Fascists do not believe in free speech. They believe in their speech. And anything that contradicts that, they'll throw out. And they'll justify it. They'll find ways to defend it, right? Like when Elon banned Ken Klippenstein for posting a internal report that was done on Vance, right? A vetting report that was done on Vance that showed his address, which is already public and part of his Social Security. And he was banned for that. And they're like, well, yeah, he did that. He should be banned. Okay, then Trump should be banned from there too, right? Because Trump did that exact thing to Obama. He posted Obama's address. And like this is the backhandedness of it. But I posted that video like he does not believe in free speech, and I got attacked like it was nothing. I got crazy attacked for weeks about it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, look, you're going to watch. He's going to ban people off the app. You're absolutely going to
Yeah.
watch that. And guess
He
what? He
silenced
did.
Loomer.
And now I'm watching, yeah, he silenced Laura Loomer. I'm watching as Mega is now posting videos about how he supports censorship. I'm like, yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
course he does. Of course he does. See, it's all fun when it's other people, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
the part of the fascism. It's all fun when it's other people. It's not so fun when it's you. And so the moment it ends up being right wingers, they're like, "Oh, I have a problem with that now. Oh, we can't allow that to happen." And this is how it works. They only believe in free speech when it supports them. And you can say, "Well, the left supports censorship." When it comes to really vile, hateful things that have no societal reason for existing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you laughing about George Floyd's death is abhorrent. There's no reason to do that other than you're either racist or you support or whatever to that degree, right? And also it looks bad for the sponsors of whoever's going to sponsor stuff. So I can understand them wanting to get rid of that type of content. Or you know, just saying really abysmal stuff that's detached from reality or stuff that's misinformation or anything to that degree. Like you shouldn't be given a platform to be allowed to spread this. But I said it back then, was attacked for it, and now Meg is agreeing with me. Isn't that the wildest thing?
Isn't
Isn't
that
that so
fucking funny?
crazy? Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
crazy? 2 years later, and I'm finally vindicated. 2 years it took me to get vindicated. So basically, all we have, all we have really about Donald Trump right now is his mass deportations, which Republicans, I don't think they're serious on. Trump might be, and same thing with the tariffs. Those two things, which he's promised, which will destroy our economy, and that's it. That's all he's offered, and all of his personal grudges. So congratulations, you just
Mm-hmm.
handed him the DOJ to go after his political opponents. He said, "Go f yourself" to every single voter he has, and that's it. He's backtracked on everything. Groceries clearly aren't coming down now. I think that's
Remember No New
clear.
Wars?
No
Just
new wars.
yesterday, he was floating the idea of bombing Iran.
Oh, isn't that wild? No new wars, I thought. So, like, what can does anybody know what campaign promise he still has that he hasn't backtracked on or that he's mentioned in the last 2 months since he got elected? He lied to you. He lied to you.
Oh well.
He lied. And, you know, they're going to find this out the hard way. They're going to find this out, you know, through more expensive groceries and shit. I'm going to let someone hear a debate in just a second, but I wanted to mention this
Mm.
because this is important. I saw this on David Pakman, and you know, what's interesting is I had mentioned this, right, previously. Someone left a comment about how they live in a 75% Republican district, and they don't see any of the problems in America. They just see what's in their bank account, right? They don't see the problems in the inner cities. They don't see none of that. They live a very insulated life in the suburbs, right? And I've talked about this before. If you're in the suburbs and you work in the city and you come in the city, what do you see? You see the optics of it. And Republicans continually saying, well, this is Democratic politics, this is Democratic policies, and, you know, maybe the Republicans are right to some degree. And I think the point is that, like, you know, we need to do more to target the suburbs because they're insulated in their little safe spaces, that they don't
Mm-hmm.
really fundamentally understand what people are going through. And so, like, their entire worldview, right, is really, how am I doing in my home? Is my home gaining value? Screw everybody else. Is my home gaining value? Yeah, cool. Screw everybody else. Is my bank account doing okay? All right, cool. Screw everybody else. Donald Trump's policies and the things that he's advocating for are not going to insulate them. They're going to experience them, right? Like they blame Biden for the inflation on the stuff that had nothing to do with him, or relatively little to do with them, more to do with Trump. But it's not going to insulate them, and so they are going to experience it. They're going to have to experience the effects of their policies. The suburbs are, which is beautiful because most of the time they don't. Right? They allow Republicans and even Democrats to go around and do policies that harm people, and they don't have to experience them because everybody kowtows to the people in the suburbs. Ah, we need your vote. I think that the Republicans are going to have a really difficult time justifying that the suburbs. And you know what? To be completely honest with you, I hope the burbs hurt. I hope they get hurt by this, because some of you may be saying, "Well, that's not a good thing to wish for." It is, because it's either that or we allow these nut jobs to completely destroy the country. Either the suburbs feel what they did, or we continue to have this. We continue to have this shit show. And just to point out, because I think this is important too, all of these things about why universal health care doesn't get fixed, suburbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these policies that we don't want to have to pay into that for them. They have their health insurance, they have their company approved health insurance and paid for health insurance, and they're covered, and their kids are covered, right? And their roads are better, and their everything. They have the money, they have, I wouldn't say they have the money there, but there's money and resources spent there, especially in like new suburbs. And those all look nice and new and whatever to that degree. And these people, they're going to experience it. They're going to experience finally the heirs of their ways. Best of luck. And if they don't experience it, we're just going to keep going along with it.